If you are currently checking your phone every 5 minutes, waiting for a text from the woman who broke your soul, you are actively participating in your own destruction. Behavioral observations suggest that every time you reach out to a woman who has betrayed you, your brain releases a surge of cortisol that actually weakens your cognitive ability to make rational decisions. You think you are fighting for love, but the psychological reality is that you are feeding an addiction to a person who has already moved on to their next host. If you don't go no contact right now, you aren't just losing her, you are losing the man you were meant to become. Stay until the end because I'm going to reveal the 4 brutal reasons why total silence is the only way to kill the parasite of betrayal and rebuild your throne from the ashes. They say real men are gone. They say we're too weak, too distracted, and easy to control. We've lost our ways, we have no focus and no backbone. I say they're wrong. I built this channel to prove that strong men still exist. Every man who subscribes is proof. If you value your pride and you control your life, don't leave. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment so I know you're with us. The world wants you weak. I want you strong. Let's go. Betrayal is not just a sad event. In the world of behavioral psychology, betrayal is a neurological breach. When you trust a woman with your heart, your resources, and your future, your brain builds a safety map around her. When she cheats, when she lies, or when she treats your loyalty like a suggestion rather than a law, that map is set on fire. Most men make the mistake of trying to talk it out while the fire is still burning. They want answers, they want closure, but behavioral patterns suggest that a woman who has already crossed the line of infidelity is incapable of giving you the truth because her survival instinct has forced her to view you as the enemy. You are the victim of intermittent reinforcement if you keep talking to someone who treats your pain like a nuisance. The first reason why no contact is the only cure is the starvation of the narcissistic supply. Behavioral observations suggest that many women who engage in betrayal do so because they are addicted to validation. When you stay in contact, when you argue, when you beg, or even when you just check in, you are giving her exactly what she wants, proof that she still has power over you. Even your anger is a gift to her. It tells her that she is still the center of your universe. By going no contact, you are performing a psychological amputation. You are cutting off the oxygen to her ego. When she can no longer see your pain, she loses her leverage. You are the victim of emotional vampirism if you continue to let her see how much she hurt you. Let's look at the path of Marcus. Marcus was a man who gave everything. He worked 2 jobs to buy his wife Chloe the house she always wanted. He was the perfect provider, but Chloe began a behavioral shift. She started staying out late, claiming she was with the girls, but her phone was always face down. When Marcus finally caught her in a lie, he did what most soft men do. He cried. He asked why. He sent long paragraphs explaining how much he loved her. He tried to negotiate her loyalty. Marcus is the loser in our story because he failed the self-respect audit. Every time he called Chloe to talk about their feelings, Chloe lost more respect for him. In her mind, a man who begs a cheater to stay is a man who has no other options. She stayed in the house, but she continued her affair right under his nose because she knew Marcus wasn't going anywhere. Marcus became a ghost in his own home, a victim of the beggar's paradox. He thought he was being mature, but he was actually being malleable. He eventually lost the house, his savings, and his dignity because he refused to use the power of silence to walk away. He was a victim of his own hope.
The second reason is the reset of the dopamine pathways. Behavioral patterns suggest that being in a relationship with a betrayer creates a trauma bond. It is chemically similar to a drug addiction. When she treats you well, you get a high. When she betrays you, you go through withdrawal. If you keep her in your life, even just on social media, you are microdosing on the person who poisoned you. You cannot heal in the same environment where you got sick. No contact is the only way to flush the system. It takes approximately 90 days for the brain to begin rewiring itself after a major emotional trauma. If you break no contact on day 89, the clock resets to 0. You are the victim of neurological sabotage every time you check her Instagram stories. You have to understand that closure is a myth sold to weak men by a soft culture. Behavioral observations suggest that you will never get the truth from a woman who is willing to lie to your face for months. Her closure will be another lie designed to make her look like the victim. She will say things like, "I wasn't happy," or "You didn't give me enough attention." This is called retrospective justification. She is rewriting the history of your relationship to justify her betrayal. If you stay in contact, you are giving her a stage to perform this play. By going no contact, you cancel the show. You are the victim of narrative theft when you let her explain away her sins. The third reason is the reclamation of the masculine frame. A man's power is found in his ability to withdraw. In any negotiation, the person who is willing to walk away and never look back is the person with the most power. When you go no contact, you are re-establishing your market value. You are telling the world and her that your presence is a premium asset that is revoked the moment terms and conditions are violated. Behavioral patterns show that a woman's attraction is often linked to a man's mystery and unpredictability. When you disappear, you become a void that she cannot fill. This is the only way to make her face the weight of her loss. You are the victim of value degradation if you stay available to someone who traded you for a discount. You are currently in a state of emotional fog. Behavioral observations suggest that when you are betrayed, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, is partially shut down by the amygdala, which is screaming in pain. You are literally brain damaged by the trauma. No contact is the medical isolation required for that brain damage to heal. If you are still talking to her, you are like a man with a broken leg trying to run a marathon. You are only making the injury permanent. You must become the commander of your own isolation. The fourth reason is the preparation for the next kingdom. You cannot build a new house on top of a sinkhole. Behavioral patterns show that men who don't go through a period of total silence after a betrayal carry the toxins of the old relationship into the next one. They become hypervigilant, insecure, and reactive. No contact isn't just about her, it's about decontaminating your own spirit. You need the silence to hear your own voice again. You need the silence to remember who you were before you let a viper into your bed. You are the victim of generational trauma if you don't heal yourself before you meet the woman who actually deserves you.
This channel is only for a certain type of man. It's for the man who says no to distractions and no to being told what to do. If you're soft, this place isn't for you. But if you're ready to work and find your worth, you belong here. Most men won't finish this video. They'll go back to their old, lazy lives. If you're the man who stays, subscribe and comment right now. Show me you're ready to be different. The sixth psychological pillar of no contact is the death of the ego stroke. Behavioral observations suggest that when a woman betrays you, she has already devalued you in her mind. Every time you reach out, you are reinforcing her decision. You are telling her, "You were right to cheat because I am a man with no self-respect." No contact is the only move that forces her to re-evaluate the reality of the situation. When you disappear, her power disappears with you. You must understand that you are the sun in your own solar system. If she chooses to leave your orbit, she chooses the cold dark. Do not bring the heat to her. Let her freeze in the silence of her own choices. Let's look at the path of Elias. Elias was a man who understood the architecture of silence. He was with Maya for 6 years. He found out she was having a digital affair with a coworker. Instead of screaming, instead of crying, and instead of asking for explanations that he knew would be lies, Elias did something brutal. He waited until she went to work, packed his things, changed his number, and moved to a pre-arranged apartment. He blocked her on every single platform, not out of anger, but out of self-preservation. Elias is the winner in our story because he recognized that silence is a weapon of war. Maya spent weeks trying to find a chink in his armor. She sent mutual friends to check on him. She left notes on his old door. She wanted to explain so she could feel like a good person again. But Elias gave her the void. He used that time to hit the gym, double his income, and rebuild his internal fortress. 6 months later, Maya was still stuck in the drama of her own making, while Elias had become a completely different man. He didn't just recover, he transformed. He won because he realized that his attention was the most expensive thing he owned, and he refused to give it away for free to a theft. The seventh psychological shift is the shattering of the pedestal. Behavioral observations suggest that men who are betrayed often have selective vision. They see the woman as a queen even when she's acting like a vulture. No contact is the lens cleaner for your soul. When you stop looking at her every day, the chemical fog lifts. You start to see the small lies you ignored. You start to see the disrespect you tolerated. You realize that she wasn't a queen. She was just a person you gave too much power to. You are the victim of idolatry if you think your life ends because she left. You need to understand the extinction burst. In behavioral psychology, when you stop responding to a stimulus, the other person will often explode with behavior to get a reaction. She might post thirst traps on social media. She might date someone you hate. She might even tell people you were abusive because you went silent. This is a test of your resolve. If you react, she wins. If you stay silent, she loses her mind. You must be the steady mountain while she is the passing storm. You are the victim of social engineering if you let her public narrative pull you out of your private silence.
The eighth shift is the birth of the new baseline. Behavioral patterns show that it takes 21 days to form a habit, but 90 days to form a new identity. During no contact, you are building a new version of yourself that doesn't need her. This is the scariest part for her. As long as you are hurting and talking, she still owns you. But when you become indifferent, you are truly free. Indifference is the opposite of love, not hate. Hate is still a connection. Indifference is the end. You must aim for total apathy toward her existence. You are the chief executive officer of your own life. If a vendor provides you with a defective product, infidelity, you don't keep calling them to ask why the product is broken. You terminate the contract and find a better vendor. Why are you treating your heart with less respect than a business deal? Behavioral observations suggest that men who treat their relationships with corporate logic are 80% less likely to be repeat victims of betrayal. They have a zero-tolerance policy for disrespect. As we close this briefing, I want you to look at your hands. These are the hands that will build your new kingdom. Every time you use those hands to type a text message to her, you are using your tools to build her kingdom instead of yours. Stop being a laborer for a woman who doesn't value your work. No contact is the labor strike of the soul. You are refusing to work for her emotional needs until you have secured your own future. I have a very smart question for the brothers who have shown the discipline to finish this video. If you found a snake in your bed that had already bitten you once, would you sit there and try to understand the snake's childhood? Or would you throw the snake out of the house and lock the door? Most men are trying to cuddle the cobra. Don't be that man. Throw her out of your mind, lock the digital door, and never look back. Drop a comment below and tell the Brotherhood, what was the moment of truth when you realized that silence was more powerful than any argument you could ever have? Share your victory in the comments. Let the younger brothers know that no contact isn't a punishment, it's a promotion. You are promoting yourself to a life without lies. Let's strengthen the line together.
I appreciate you for sticking through to the end. It shows me you've got the focus most men lack. Remember, you aren't alone in this anymore. You've got a brotherhood here. If this message helped you, subscribe and join the family. Drop a comment below. I read them and I want to hear from you. You're doing the work and I see you. Stay strong and I'll see you in the next one.